And so basically forget it. I'll be right back.
All right. Jimmy, I want you to see this later and know that I'm picking my nose on your camera.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Left you a little ditty.
You did?
Oh yeah.
something for later.
You'll see it later.
Okay. I should have known. Oh, it's gonna be great.
Do not put it on.
Oh, it'll be the opening. It'll
Awesome.
be how it opens up. My next guest has been performing live music for about the past 20 years. He's gone from the bass guitar to the rhythm guitar to the frontman of his own band to even filling in when needed for others, taking on the responsibility of booking, recording, and managing his own music for the simple love of the game. For the past 6 years, he's performed as a solo acoustic artist in the Houston area. Please welcome Mr. Brian Thomas.
Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate being here.
Thank you for being here, sir. You are a solid dude. And full disclosure, we need to let all of our millions of listeners out there know that me and Brian, we go back a little bit. We go back a ways, and we know each other a little bit. So
just a little bit.
This may not be as formal as some of the other interviews that I've done, and we're gonna have a little bit of fun. And there may be a little more editing in this one. I may have to go back and cut some stuff out. If we may go off the rails and forget that we're recording, so you never know. We try to keep it G-rated, PG, but
hold on for the ride.
Yeah, right on. Hold on. So first question, man. Well, actually, before that, is there anything that you wanted to add to the bio that I just read? Is you? I know that you were born in Ohio, right?
I was. Secrets. We're disclosing my secrets. Yeah,
right.
I was born in Ohio. My family, we moved to Texas in '89, so I don't really know or remember much of Ohio. I was like 4 or 5. Texas is my home, and I ain't leaving. I ain't going anywhere. So.
Right. Yeah. So I was surprised to know that. I thought you were born and raised in Texas. I was like, this guy, man, he's, got the cowboy hat and the boots and the country swagger. And we were talking about, I was born in Ohio. And I was like, what?
I mean, 29 years, 30 years. It's all I know and what I know. So
yeah. Right on. The first time we met, it was, you were filling in for the band with Joe, and you had never fronted a band before. You'd played in a band, but you were the front man before.
Correct.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But when you showed up, I remember you being kind of nervous and saying, "Hey, is this cool? Or is everybody, in the band cool?" And is what do you think? And are we going to be a good fit? And all of those things which you were, naturally going through. And I just remember feeling kind of good that it was like I felt like it was my responsibility to kind of make you feel welcome.
So I remember that night very well, actually, because I do it when I play by myself. I do Don't Hand Me No Lines into Fishing in the Dark.
Right. Yes.
Which does not work. The timing of it does not work.
It doesn't?
It doesn't. But I do it, and I can do it because it's just me. But that night, because I played some solo stuff before, but as far as being a band, that was my very first time fronting a band. And I remember the guy on guitar, David Fulton.
Oh, was David there that night?
David was there, and he was good.
Yeah.
And and that's what made, so we were talking about, I was like, all right, we're going to go Don't Hand Me No Lines to Fishing in the Dark. And he looks at me, he goes, because he had the mindset of knowing like the tempos. He's like, I don't think that works. I'm like, trust me, we got it. Here we go. And it didn't. It flopped. It flopped horribly. And I looked at him. I was like, all right, we're going back to Don't Hand Me No Lines. We're going to finish it up on the fly in the middle of the song.
Right.
And after the song, I went over. I was like, yep, that one, fell on my face on that one. But I remember that very well because then, you live, you learn. But I still do it, those 2 songs by myself because I can.
Right.
finagle the timing.
Right.
I'm sure it could be done with some practice in a band.
Oh, absolutely.
But you know, with four guys who never played together up on stage, we flopped.
Yeah. And that's fine. That's fine. We had fun. We had fun,
Absolutely.
and it was a good night. And the three people that were in the bar.
No, there was more people because it was the crawfish boil.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I remember it differently.
Because it was in the afternoon.
I blacked it out.
Yeah, it was that bad, huh?
I suppressed that. I was like, let's just forget about that night. Let's never think about that night again. After all these years, do you still get like anxiety before a gig? Do you feel that weight every once in a while, or
I mean,
once in a while?
I do. I think it's more, I wouldn't say it's anxiety. I think it's more just of like the rush. And I tend to not overthink things, but you know, you're packing up, you're getting ready, you kind of go through your list of everything you have, everything you need, you know, between, you know, sound equipment and I mean, being solo, it's a lot easier than, you know, with the band, but yeah, I just go through the mental checklist and make sure I've got everything. And at, you know, some cases I have backups for everything, you know, just in case you have a speaker go out or a mic go out or whatever. You know, sometimes it's not feasible to have that, but lucky enough, you know, I do. I always carry 2 guitars and 2 mics and, you know, plenty of speakers to go around. So, you know, if something drops out on me, then, you know, the show must go on, right? I think it also has to do with, you know, the kind of show. If it's a place you've been to and you know the atmosphere, you know the owners, you know the clientele. If I pull something out and I haven't played it or practiced it in months, and you know, if I screw it up, you know, just roll with it, roll with the punches, and no one's going to know the wiser.
Right.
But you know, I be the first one to tell you, I have stopped in the middle of songs, being, yep, that didn't go the way I planned. And you know what? You're human, and I feel
happened a couple times.
It absolutely has. You know, I mean, after this COVID thing, I didn't play for a year and a half,
right?
And I was playing at a brewery, and I tried to play something that, you know, everybody play. You know, I can't remember what song it was, but it was just bad. And I stopped. I said, yep, that was not the way I planned. And, you know, people laugh, you know, it's, you know, you're human. And
right.
You know, I always like to, you know, throw some comedy. You know, if you can get people engaged and laughing, then you're going to mess up. I mean, there was one time I played where I dropped my guitar to drop D. And then a guy requested a song. I said, oh, yeah, I got it. I was super excited. And I never retuned my guitar, and it sounded horrible. But, you know, you roll with the punches. Actually, he came up to me later. He goes, yeah, you didn't do very well. I was like, you're right. My guitar was out of tune, and it's no excuse. I apologize. 85, 90% of is what I feel I do well is connect and joke. And, I mean, even changing lyrics to songs, you know, my hometown, it's a song, you know, where I play by myself, I literally stop in the middle of that song. There's a lyric that says, I got myself a little band, and I literally stop and I look around and I change it to, I guess they didn't show up, you know? So, I mean, nice. It's the people, I mean, if they're engaged and they're listening to you, they catch those little things, they laugh. You know, if they're happy, they're going to have you back.
That's right. So,
you know, they tell you to turn down, you turn down. They tell you to turn up, you turn up, you know? I mean, the goal of all of this is networking.
So here's a question for you. If you could speak to a young Brian Thomas from 20 years ago and give that guy,
oh gosh,
if you could give that guy some advice, what would it be? Take your time.
When I first started playing, like I was very anxious, very nervous, very like, you know, concerned about making a mistake, like everywhere I played. And I don't know if it's advice, but I mean, it's almost like, dude, you're going to play with some awesome musicians. You're going to play in some awesome clubs and some awesome venues. And if you could just see where this takes you, don't stress, man. I mean, well, in July, so my roommates from college, you know, one still plays, one has kind of slowed down, but you know, he moved to Nashville and, you know, had the singer-songwriter, you know, publicist kind of thing, and did the Texas scene for a while. And he still calls me, you know, once or twice a year and says, "Hey, I need a bass player. I need a guitar player. What are you doing?" And
Awesome.
he called me. I mean, he called me for the Marble Falls Rodeo, and you know, 50% of the band had played on the Grand Ole Opry.
Really?
Yeah. Obviously, I wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
But I mean,
you might get there. There's still time.
You know, they're good. They are phenomenal. And I mean,
so did you feel anxious playing with those guys? Were you like, oh man?
A little bit. I mean, absolutely. When the levels low up, yeah, I was. There was some nerves, but I mean, those guys, it's a whole nother level, man. Like, I mean, I'm very happy with, you know, local, and I'm not trying to get famous. I'm not trying to make this my real job, because I know the time demands, and I have 2 small children, and you know, I have to put things in perspective. You know, I still love playing. I still will continue to play, but these guys are on a whole nother level. You know, we didn't have a set list.
Really?
And we played for 4 hours.
He was just calling them out. Now we're going to do this one.
Yep.
Did you know them, every single one of them?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But once again, when you surround yourself with good people, whether it be musician wise or just flat out confident and entertainers, no one sees it. No one knows.
If you were up there and you like really didn't know one and you were making mistakes, could you like see the others up on that stage kind of like, oh man, or was it like, hey man, we're just up here having fun?
Not at all. Absolutely. It was fun. I mean, obviously, I was using some I was following the bass player is what I was doing. Because I was just playing rhythm. I was playing rhythm guitar, no singing. I was doing some backup vocals, but nothing real. And literally, I'd follow the bass player, and you know it. And you know, we're gonna be back again next year. We've done it. So we didn't do it last year because of COVID. We did it the year before. We did it this year, and we're gonna do it again next year. So, I mean, yeah, it's you follow along, and you know, hold on, here we go, boys.
Right.
This will be good. I had a girl. I was playing a brewery, and I had a 6 or 7 year old girl come up to me and literally asked to play Taylor Swift "Shake It Off."
Oh Lord.
And I did.
What?
Yeah, I did.
No way.
Yeah, and her parents were so. Yeah, yeah, I had it. And I mean, you know, you start playing guitar, all the same old songs become kind of monotonous and boring to practice. So I was looking up everything, Taylor Swift, and you know, anything to kind of change it up, because I mean, that's the most compliment I get when I play by myself is just the array of music I play, because I'll play anything from Merle Haggard to Twisted Sister.
Yeah.
You know, we've done that. We've done that. You know, I play Sublime. I play Tom Petty. I play Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, I do. Like I try to get everybody involved, especially the family restaurants and stuff. Of course, I'm doing solo stuff now. I mean, the band, it's different. You gotta, you know, the venues are different. So, but yeah, I pulled out "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift, and her parents were so impressed. They threw a 20 in my bucket, and I was like, "Thank you."
Really? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So that was totally worth it.
Yeah.
But you hadn't rehearsed that song. It's not like you sat there and tried to learn how to play that. You were just kind of
I fumbled around with it for 10, 15 minutes. And I mean, you know as well as I mean, once you play regularly and you play enough, especially when you're by yourself, you can change tempos, change speed, change things up a little bit here and there, and no one knows the difference, like I was saying before. But I mean, you can pull stuff out of, I mean, anywhere, you know. I mean, right. And so what if the chords aren't right? So what if the lyrics aren't perfect? You know, it was a 7-year-old girl.
Right. Where are you at all over the internet?
I have a Facebook, I have a Twitter and an Instagram. I don't particularly use Twitter and Instagram all too much. It's mostly Facebook stuff. Once again, like I said, this is a side deal for me. You know, for people, I did. So a few years ago, I went to actually a Texas country music kind of like symposium or workshop or whatever in College Station, and they had a lot of really good information. There was a lot of you know, people trying to do it and make it, and you know, they were spitting out stats of something like, to keep things relevant, you have to post 7 times a day on social media.
7
yeah,
times.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
You're lucky if I get on once a week.
I don't have the time for that. And I mean, you know, I'll call up some places, and you know, so the place I saw that guy playing, I talked to them, you know, mostly in person. It's like, hey, you know, if you have any open dates, let me know. Here's my Facebook page, and you know, I'm playing here this weekend, but other than that, I'm pretty open. And you know, I do it mostly just kind of off the cuff. When we were trying to grind, whoo, man, that was tough. I remember one Sunday I sent out over 100 messages.
Oh my gosh.
Through Facebook and called.
Really?
Yeah. And I got 2 responses. So
that was my next question. How much feedback would you say you get from doing that? Like what are the percentage of the gigs that you get through social media like Facebook versus calling on the phone?
Back at that time, like I said, I sent out like, I think it was like 120 messages, and I might have gotten 3 responses back.
Really?
Yeah. I heard a statistic at that workshop where it was like 10 to 15% will give you callbacks. You know, they said,
that's if you get on 7 times a day.
7 times a day.
I've taken up enough of your time today, Mr. Brian Thomas. So let me wrap it up here. In closing, let me say that the kind of musician you are is the kind that others should aspire to be like. The fun and positive vibe you create on stage is contagious, and everyone just always seems to have a good time when Brian Thomas is around. Now, those are the things that people were saying about you before I really got to know you. I didn't just write that. I mean,
wow, you made me feel pretty good, Jimmy.
well, I mean, I wrote it, but I didn't. That doesn't come from me. I mean, it does, but you'll see. But those are the kinds of things that people were saying about you before I really got to know you. And after all these years, I'm here to report. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
Well played, sir. Well played.
I had to get you one time. So I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. Every word of that is true, and you deserve to hear it. And that's why I
thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I love you, man. And let's do this again sometime.
Absolutely.
Thanks to the good people out there for watching or listening. I'm DJ Jimmy Metro here with Brian Thomas saying, carry on, my wayward son.
There'll be peace when we are done. Well, I'll tell you another funny story. I was at Creekwood again, or a year ago, and the same thing happened to me. And I almost literally, like, I don't say almost because like a little came out. Like I peed myself on stage. Yeah.
Come on, man.
And I
Really?
made a run for it. I was like, I'm sorry, I got to take a break. And it wasn't even like, so when I take a break, it's, I go through the, I'm here till 9:30. I'll stick around, grab a drink, grab some food, take care of your wages. Like I talked for a good, 45 seconds to a minute and a half. And
right.
That was I gotta go. But luckily, see the difference, well, there's 2 differences between drums and frontman. Frontman, you're always talking and singing. Right. So you can't be, it gets in the way of drinking, unfortunately. But
right.
But on top of that, I got a guitar in front of me. So even if I did pee myself,
Nobody's gonna notice.
Had it covered.
That's great.
Carry on my wayward son.
Ooh, we're getting so much comedy gold already. 3, 2, 1. Nope, hold on.